Preparation for underarm waxing is the same as any area. Get your client comfortably on the treatment bed, and as you're checking the area and you're pre-waxing, you're looking for any contraindications. You're checking the direction of the hair growth and if there's any ingrown hairs that you need to deal with. We can see that the hair is growing in one direction, but if it was growing in separate directions, then you can take it a stage at a time. What we also want to do is pop a tissue in to protect the client's underwear, and just make sure that there's no residue from the pre-wax on the skin, as this would stop the wax sticking. If there is any residue, then we can use a tissue, or we can even use some talc. So now we're ready to apply our wax. So we're now ready to apply a thin layer of our wax, and we're using the spatula method. So just make sure that it's the right temperature, check it on yourself for safety first, and then you hold your spatula at a 45-degree angle and very gently but firmly apply in as thin a layer as you can. With the underarms, get into the habit of wearing your gloves because there is a small chance of blood spotting, and also don't reuse the spatula, so don't double dip, it should go straight into your bin. And what we'll do now is pop that into our bin, ask your client to support, and what we're going to do is have our wax strip here, which again should be at the correct length. If it's too long, then just trim it back. It should be about this length. Too long and you won't be able to support the skin and you might end up causing a small bruise. So make sure that's attached firmly. We're going to stretch the skin, ask the client to stretch the skin there. Pull and soothe. By soothing, you're trying to deaden the nerve endings. It doesn't work for everyone, but it's best to do that because it can actually detract from any discomfort. There's a tiny little bit of residue here, so what we can do is see if it will come off with the strip. That's perfect. And there's 2 or 3 hairs here, so what we can do is actually tweeze these. But if there was more than that, then we can use the wax twice. If you wax more than twice over an area, you might start to sensitise and cause a bruise. So what we'll do is just tweeze these individual hairs here and then we can soothe. But you can see what came out here. We've got a lot of bulbs, which is perfect. So that means that there'll be no shadow under the skin and it shouldn't grow back that hair for about 4 to 6 weeks. It's really simple just to tweeze out the odd hairs. If you need to, you can use your pointed tweezers. We're going to use the slanted ones here, but your automatics can also come in really useful. If the hair is a little bit sticky because of the wax, then you can pop on some of your after wax lotion because you are finished waxing, and it's also great for just instantly soothing the area. We're really lucky that we don't have any blood spotting here, but if we did, we'd be very careful after using the tweezers to make sure that they're sanitised very quickly. We don't want to cross-contaminate. So I'm just holding the skin taut and very gently removing these odd hairs. Some people find that the tweezing is actually more uncomfortable than the waxing. So if that's the case and they don't want to be tweezed, then do your waxing over these little areas. Again, no more than twice on an area. And if there are any little hairs that won't break the surface, then as long as the client's happy that they don't want to be tweezed, then we can just keep it to an absolute minimum. If someone comes to you that hasn't left it long enough between waxing treatments, you might find that there's some patches that grow back quicker. And if it's the first time that someone's coming to you for an underarm wax and they've been shaving, then it might be a little bit more uncomfortable the first time because the hair's blunt. So once they get into the habit, it should become less painful. But everyone is different, so hopefully they'll get into the routine and they'll see that it's actually a finer, softer growth. Your aftercare advice is just to not put anything perfumed on that area for the next 12 to 24 hours. Don't go for any heat treatments, don't go swimming, don't apply any fake tan products, and don't use any antiperspirants because they would all cause irritation and be quite uncomfortable. But the next day, as I say, 12 to 24 hours, 48 if you're very sensitive, you're back to normal.